Hello and welcome to this training session within the Data Administration series. Today we're going to be looking at the configuration of fuzzy searching on company names within the context of pre-entry search. This is a continuation really on the idea of deduplication, which is something that we explored in the last lesson. And so we should be seeing the fuzzy searching on company names as part of that pre-entry search. And in this lesson in particular, we're going to cover the knowledge needed to understand both how it functions and also how then it can be configured within the context of the company names. Now, duplicate records in a Sage CRM system or any system can significantly impact a business's efficiency and effectiveness. The whole idea of having a particular company entered multiple times or a contact entered multiple times into the system is going to really lead to wasted time and effort as sales representatives struggle to find the correct record, update multiple entries, and perhaps even inadvertently contact the same customer multiple times, even by different people within the same team, giving the customer a bad experience and slowing down operations, and also making it challenging for you to be able to produce the reports that demonstrate correct, up-to-date information, and erroneous reporting will always lead to flawed decision-making. So getting it right is an important aspect of this, and we want to make sure that as we are using Sage CRM, our users want to have confidence in the data and want to be encouraged to use the system because they know that the data can be relied on. And so the whole process of deduplication checks on entry is a very important part of the setup of the system. Now, we saw in the previous lesson that Sage CRM has a built-in feature for preventing duplicate records, which we call deduplication. And we saw that it works as a warning system. So when you try and create a new record, and that's going to be a company, a person, or a lead, Sage CRM searches for existing entries that match the entered data according to a set of rules. These rules are called match rules. And if a potential duplicate is found, the user will see a warning message with details of the existing records. And what we were able to do in the last lesson is to show where deduplication is enabled within the system behavior screen under system configuration, and how a system administrator can control the experience of deduplication, including the actual fields used for the pre-entry search. That's by altering the dedupe screens to be able to look at the rules by which the check is carried out, and then the columns that are included within the pre-entry search results display. All of this is configurable. What we're going to look at now is an additional level of pre-entry search that is just focused on the name of the company that starts to be entered into the database. So this is very much in the context of business to business usage, and it's really about understanding some of the problems that can come about when we are dealing practically with identifying customers. So if we think about the name Eurolandia as a company, it's one of the demo data companies inside Sage CRM. It's a great name for a company with a global reach. In itself, in the database, just within the UK, you've got different legislation. You've got different suffixes that can be used because of the legislation for a company. So it could be in inside Eurolandia. This is the most. It could be LTD or limited, and either LTD, which is pronounced limited, is written as LTD, or it's written out in full. But it could equally be called a CIC, a community interest company, or perhaps even a PLC. But typically, you'd just be saying Eurolandia. And you've got similar ideas of how do you describe and name a company in the US and Canada. You might well be referring to it as Eurolandia Inc., but is it Inc? How do you abbreviate? In Australia, you've got the whole question about Eurolandia Pty Limited. So Pty Limited indicates a proprietary limited company. And there are different considerations for suffixes just on the company names all around the world. And just looking at that example of whether it's LTD, whether it's limited, CIC, or PLC as the correct company name, you're likely just to be capturing it as, well, so-and-so works for Eurolandia. And if I say limited or limited over the phone, you can't hear the difference between the LTD as the abbreviation or limited, LIMITED, when you're talking to a prospect. You can't hear that if they're saying, this is who I work for. And you wouldn't be able to hear either the difference between the literal word and in a company name like AND and the ampersand symbol. You just don't hear this. So data can be captured wrongly. And to give you a very real example, what about if I said the name of the company is ABB Hellas Systems Limited? Well, this is ABB Hellas Systems Limited. Can you hear the dots and the brackets when I say the company name? And because you don't hear if you're talking about things, data can be captured wrongly, and you end up with the proliferation of data within the system, which is incorrect. There's duplicates occurring inside the system. If you only heard ABB Hellas Systems Limited on the phone, you might record several variations of that company name in a CRM system due to differences in the interpretation, punctuation, and abbreviation. And so there does need to be a way of using fuzzy logic to ensure that the deduplication on pre-entry searches is improved to capture this. And there is a way. And this is the feature called company name cleanup, and that can be used to improve the search. Now, here I'm back inside Sage CRM. I've logged on as a system administrator. So if I switch into the administration screens, and I'm going to head into the data management area, and within, you can see where I am. I'm in administration, data management, and I can see the option company name cleanup. So I'm just going to click that. And this is where I can start to introduce the fuzzy logic. There are two types of behavior that I can use. If I just click to drop down. So there's two options. There's the company name cleanup remove list, and there's the company name cleanup replace list. First of all, the remove is nothing is removed. I need to emphasize is that it looks like if you were entering this into the system, company name, you would remove something. The remove is only applicable for the search. So it's actually allowing you to enter characters or words or punctuation that is applied within a company name that is going to be ignored during the deduplication pre-entry search. So here I could specify the dots and brackets that are going to be ignored as I come to enter a new company name in the comparison, so it will be able to find what is actually um, uh, to see whether or not companies are the same in reality. So company name, the other option is the company name cleanup replace list. And this is where we've already mentioned that we've got the challenge of the ampersand and the word and being used in company names, or where we might have a co dot rather than company being used in a name. So you can start to look at what are aliases or alternatives that should be used and applied within the deduplication pre-entry search. Now, in terms of behavior, if we go ahead and we define any of these, then the rules in the remove list are applied first, and then the rules in the replace list are then applied. But it makes more sense when I'm going to click, and I am going to define now a company name cleanup remove list. So I'll go through this process, and I promise it starts to become obvious as to what we're doing. So let's enter the characters that need to be ignored. And I'm going to put a left bracket in here because I don't want us to think about the brackets as we're entering in data. And I'll also do the right bracket as well. And I'll just save that. And then I'll also make sure I get rid of the dot in the comparison so I can remove any references to the full stop in the company names. And I can save that. So I've listed the round brackets and dots as characters to be ignored during the pre-entry search. I can go further because what I can do now is to go onto the company name replace list, and I can now define the alternatives and aliases to be used. So if I choose here, I am going to look at and I'm putting in limited. When LTD starts to be entered, I want it to also search for limited, spelled out fully. And then also the other way around, I want it, whenever I enter limited, I want to search for companies with LTD in their name. So that's built a list of alternatives. So if I enter LTD, I should look for limited. If I enter limited, I should look for LTD. So let's see if this has made a difference. If I just switch in now, I've switched back to look at the company. Notice this is called A.B.B. left bracket Hellas close brackets systems Ltd. So if I start the process, I'm going to add a new company. Will this work? And I've just dropped in ABB Hellas Systems Limited. This is without the dots, without the brackets. Will this recognize it as actually a new company? I'm going to zoom in on that. You can see what I've done there. The definitions that we added will cause any dot references to be ignored, the brackets to be ignored. It will treat LTD and limited as alternatives to each other. We've added in the necessary definitions to make the search fuzzy. And so if I zoom back out and then click the enter company details, I found out I did it. I entered ABB Hellas Systems Limited, and it's matched it to an existing company, A.B.B. open brackets Hellas close brackets Systems Ltd. So here we've made the search fuzzier. And the feature allows for this more flexible comparison between the new company name being entered and existing company names inside the system. If we had just been using the match rules on the company names, then there would have been limitations. So the match rules rely on exact matches or contains and the other predefined types of comparisons. Soundex would introduce a little bit of sounds like would add a little bit of comparison, but basically the match rules on the company names can be too strict, and miss potential duplicates due to typos, variations in spellings, or abbreviations, like we just looked at there. So if you've configured a system to use deduplication, then using the company name cleanup feature is highly recommended. If when you enter a new company name, the system can leverage the cleanup list and the fuzzy matching logic, and this is going to identify existing companies with similar names, even if they wouldn't have been flagged by the standard deduplication rules. And so it expands the scope of potential duplicates and provides a more comprehensive check. When we combine the company name cleanup, standard match rules, we get several benefits for our business, leading to a more efficient and accurate system. All of these rules, all of the standard rules, they provide a strong foundation. The company name cleanup adds the other layer, and we just make sure that we're not going to have anything slip through the cracks in that way. This is a powerful strategy for any business using Sage CRM, and it leads to a cleaner, more accurate, more efficient CRM system, ultimately benefiting the sales, marketing, and customer relationships that you have. So we're at the end. This is a much shorter presentation than the last concept on introducing the pre-entry searches. We're going to be building on this idea because we're going to be looking at the idea of some of the searching and fuzziness of that takes place during data import, and we'll be looking at how we prepare for a data import next week, going through the practical stages, and then managing the whole nature of once we've got data within the system, how we configure the things that we want, like a price list, etc. Let's see, though, if anyone has got any questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming along and joining me today. I look forward to seeing you on the next session. Thank you and goodbye.